Welcome to Wednesday Night Live at 9, a weekly show where we discuss what's going on around the way and world. So please welcome your host, Vincent Perez. Yeah, what's going on? You know what that means. It's Coquito season, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first batch of the Terry's Coquito of the season, small barreled, aged in my refrigerator. What's up, people? This is your boy Vin's Daily Rant, Vincent Perez, and this is Wednesday Night Live at 9. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It's the holiday season is upon us. And as usual, I usually have some very interesting guests. Tonight, I have my boy, Alaric Campbell. I know him as Ricky because I've known him since kindergarten. This whole Alaric thing, I don't know about that. But anyway, my boy, Alaric Campbell, photographer, documentary, filmmaker, all those good things, man. This guy I've known since kindergarten, right? We go back 40 years and years, right? And my best friend in the whole world, man. He's also my co-host on Decoding 40. And I don't know what else to say other than he's a great photographer. He's a talented brother, husband, and father. And without further ado, I'll have him come in. Rick.
Yo, what up? It's weird that you're introducing me like that. Like we literally, you know what is funny is like the other day I was dropping my daughter off at school and she is now in kindergarten. She just turned 5. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, who is your friend in this class? Like, who are you going to know in 45 years?
If you're lucky,
well, not
right?
quite 45 years.
43,
but who are you going to know in 43 years?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Big, man. It's big.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, it's funny because like I Rick, like anybody who's known Rick over 20 years has known him as Rick, right? So I know that it's funny sometimes because we'll be out, before pre-COVID, right? We'll be out bar or whatever, and Rick will be out there. Some of his artist friends or photographer friends will be out, and they will go, "How long have you known Alaric?" And I'm like, "Who?" Like, you mean Rick? Like, I know this motherfucker longer than you probably been alive, young man. But it's all good, man. We go way back to Cambridge Heights, Queens. We our mothers are our mothers. It's just a long history, long love there, man.
That's how I differentiated old friends and new friends. If you've known me since I was a kid, you know me as Ricky.
No doubt. So shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
So what's been going on in the artist world, sir? What have you been up to? Because I know a lot of time it's secretive shit. You can't tell me what's going on.
Well, right now, this one project I'm working on is not secretive at all, and it's actually a fun project, and I've never really done anything like this before, but because of the direction that they're going with the show, it's actually a reality TV show.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's not. But it no. Hold on. It's not any wives of anything, and it's not love and nothing. It's a show. It's on DIY Network.
Okay.
And it's called Barnwood Builders. And they're in like their 13th season, and they're sort of moving towards a more cinematic look for the show, and that's part of the reason why I got involved, and the DP that works on that's been the DP for I think forever, for at least 10 years, brought me on, and it's a really good group of guys, and I'm enjoying working on it because it's something I've never really done before, and you're outside, and it's we were in North Carolina, then we were in like West Virginia, and I'm about to head back to West Virginia and work on some more of it. But The cast they're amazing. They're actually really funny, really nice, sweet guys.
That's what's
So
up.
I'm enjoying that.
That's what's
And
up.
the other project I can't talk about.
Yeah, we always on the Code and 40 podcast. Shout out to the Code and 40 podcast. We get together, and Rick's like documentary missions is like Area 51 classified top secret type shit. Like you don't know what's going on until 4 months after the fact. He'd be like, "Yo, it's coming out tomorrow."
Well, you got to sign all these NDAs, and I'm not fucking up my money.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That's
To talk about it.
Shout out to the money. You know what I mean?
Shout
But speaking of money, Terry's Coquito, a wonderful, delicious, tasteful
on sale
Coquito
now.
is on sale now. Taking orders, holla at me. Shameless plug. But no, I like, it's funny because, like I said, I've known Rick all my life. I remember when Rick started taking pictures. It kind of, Rick's been doing it all of his life since he was a kid. But one of the first memories, of course, is when we were younger. Rick always had a camera, especially when we went to Greek Fest and things of that nature. If you don't know what the Greek Fest was, it was a yearly party out in Jones Beach, wild for the night, lots of drinks, lots of marijuana cigarettes, and debaucherous activities. And Rick always caught pictures of us. And there's probably pictures of people in very compromising positions after drinking too much, passed out on the sand. And somewhere out there, if you've ever been there, Rick probably got a picture of you passed out.
Maybe some of your daddies and mamas too.
Yes.
I'm gonna start scanning some of that stuff because I haven't looked through it in a while, and I'm sure there's some interesting things in there.
Yes. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Shout out to Camellia Yoga, and shout out to John Paul, who's on the check-in. What's up?
Oh, what's up, Paul?
And he
Staying
goes
up late with us.
I remember Alaric was with his camera back. Okay, that's what's up. You have that again. He calls you Alaric. It's okay. Because that's when Rick changed his name like Prince. He was like, "Nah, I'm going by the name Alaric now. So call me as my professional name." But but yeah. So tonight I wanted to talk about Hollywood, Black Hollywood. The other day my wife showed me a video that I hadn't seen yet that I'm going to play, and then we'll discuss what we think about it. Michael K. Williams, the late Michael K. Williams, great actor, lost too soon. And I know when he passed away, it kind of hit me differently because not only was he a good actor, he was a good human being, because you saw things that he did outside of just being an actor. And I had no idea that he was a dancer. He was a choreographer. He did so many things before he even became the character that stole, I'm sorry, Omar stole our hearts. It gave us fear. The character Omar was fearful as shit, but he was the first gay gangster on TV. That was the crazy thing. Like, he was gangster as shit. And he had there was so many facets to that character. And then, of course, Chalky White, which I am now, again, really for the first time, watching Boardwalk Empire, which is a great show, everything that he's done. But he did this video where he's playing himself. And I'm just going to show the video for everybody, and then we'll go into it. It's 2 minutes long. Everybody can hold on. All right. Grab your drinks, have a sip, and we're going to watch with us, and then we'll discuss.
You think I'm being typecast? I don't know. Think this cat is typecast? It's a fucking cat, Ain't got much choice. What if he moved to a new neighborhood? Hung out with the poodle crowd, did poodle things, become a poodle. Still be a cat, But what if he convinced himself that he was a poodle and everyone else that he was a poodle? Wouldn't that make him a poodle? That's a good point. I mean, weird as shit, but that's a good point. And this whole metaphor is bullshit, yo. You hear me? You think everybody don't got a role to play, huh? You think a white boy could have played Omar? You think you could play a president? I could. And I think we've seen the last black president for a while. I'm just saying. I think you're gonna always be playing some version of Mike. Gangster Mike, old-timer gangster Mike, southern gangster Mike. But I'm not a gangster. Everyone that knows me knows that. Self-denying gangster Mike. Look, I picked these roles. Me, I made this path for myself. Did you? Yeah, did you? Or did they choose you? You think we would be doing what we're doing if we had a choice? Huh? Face it, man. Look, we from a certain type of people that come from a type of place that look a type of way. You know what that make us? Black. Typecast. If I were typecast, I'd be in jail or dead. But I'm here. I got out. Got myself out. You sure about that?
God, that shit is so eerie now that he's gone.
Yes, it is.
Fuck.
But extremely, extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And we talked about it a little bit before the show, and we've talked about it on Dakota 40 before, but this thing of being typecast or just Black Hollywood in general, like where do you think, again, because you don't do necessarily TV shows and movies yet, but like,
well, I do TV shows now.
Well, yeah. Excuse me. You just talked about that. Excuse me.
I just
so
did.
the Coquito is already
Yes.
warming me up a little bit. But what I'm saying is like, what is your opinion about that? Do you think we're typecast? Do you think that's a good or bad thing? I mean, because based on what he did,
yeah,
brilliant roles.
Well, I mean, I think Hollywood has always been that, and I don't think that it's unique to Black and brown people. I think that they've always typecast people, but I think what Hollywood is guilty of is making our typecast and possibilities limited in comparison to what we're capable of. So they looked at a Michael K. Williams when he first came in the game, and they said, "This is all you can play." And they gave him a little bit of curve, a little bit of breathing room by making him a gay gangster, because that had never been on television before. Absolutely not. They gave him a little bit of leeway there, but he's still a gangster, and yeah, I don't know if you remember the movie I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, Hollywood Shuffle.
Yes,
I'm Gonna Get You,
yes,
Sucker.
yes, yes.
Hollywood Shuffle. They were talking about this in the 80s, how there were specific roles that were available to Black men and women in Hollywood. That hasn't really changed a whole bunch, because there are more roles outside of those that Hollywood wants to give you, but not a whole lot more. They're still green lighting, they're still pulling the strings. Hollywood, is still guiding the image, but at least there's a little bit of balance, but they can always take that away. Quick, fast, in a hurry.
Well, coming a little, I'm going to ask you a question more close to home. Being a Black man and doing what you do, what type of, do you get typecast in a sense when you come for the job? Like, do you get put into a box? Because I know we talked about this one time on the show. Yeah. So how do you combat that? And like, what's an experience you can think of without naming names that really kind of,
I'm absolutely sure that I do. I'm sure that when I walk into the room, someone's questioned my being there. Someone has questioned my abilities, my knowledge. I'm sure it's happened. look, I've been the only black man on set for a long time. My entire career, most of the time, I'm the only black man on set.
Mm.
It's very rare that there's another black man, black person, person of color, Asian person.
Mm.
Sometimes I am the only not white person. A lot of the times.
Mm.
So yeah, that pressure, it used to be pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt that pressure. It felt like I had to represent for not just myself, but for every other black or brown person that was going to step on set. But at some point, I don't know exactly when that shift was for me, but I was worried about myself and worried about my reputation. What is, how are people going to view me and my work? And that was my only focus. My only focus was that. Like, the one thing that I think is going to be consistent throughout, anyone that talks about who's worked with me, they're going to say that I work hard, and I'm reliable, and I know my shit. That's going to be how, because that's by my design.
So
Because
it's
I show up on time, I work hard, and I make sure that I have something to share. I have something to give. I learned on whatever the other place that I was, and I bring that to my next experience.
and you have to have a quiet confidence. Do you feel that sometimes you can't be as opinionated or boisterous as you want to, just because the fact they might be looking at you in a certain way, or they're expecting, when is the hood going to come out type of look at you? Like,
I think maybe when I was younger, but like now I've been doing it so long, like you can't really tell me.
you're just an old
You
black man
can't
right
tell
now.
me nothing. Like I'm gonna say what I gotta say, but
Yeah.
it's also like when you learn to read the room, you learn
Mhm.
to figure out when is the time I should say something, or when's the time. I got a great example. Very recently, I worked with a line producer who wasn't the best, right? And there was an issue, and the executive producer, who I know better and I've known longer, um, they were sort of milling about, right? And I didn't want to blow up his spot. So I played it down so that the executive producer felt comfortable enough that she didn't have to micromanage whatever was happening. And then I said, look, this is what you need to fix. Like,
Mhm.
you need to fix this, because I don't want her. She's got too much to do, too much on her head. This is not the thing that she needs to deal with. So you manage this.
Mhm.
And that's the confidence in my experience, and
Mhm.
that's the thing that you learn to sort of read the room. If I was younger, I might have been like, just blurt out whatever the problem is that he needs to fix, and then you're putting out fires, because now the EP is like, oh, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. It sounds like to me, like in any corporate situation, or in general, life in general, especially when you're the only person of color in the room, you're confident in what you're doing, but at the same time, you have to, I won't say not with kid gloves, but you have to be sensitive to everybody, because we're tend to, even though we can have more experience and everything else, we tend to kind of have to play a certain role, because we don't want to upset we don't want to be looked at threatening, anything like that. So I think just with the way you handled it is great. I guess it's almost the same when I do stand up. Like, you got to know the room,
Yeah.
because you just can't say uh anything and everything. And I've learned that the hard way.
Right. But
You know?
that goes for especially now, that goes for everybody on set. You
Mhm.
can't say and do whatever you want. And those people who have impulse control and can't mind what they say,
Mhm.
they don't come back.
Yes. Yes. Most definitely.
There's
So
always office politics.
anywhere you go,
Yeah.
I going back to what we watched earlier with the clip, you know what? It's funny. I find in Hollywood, or when I watch movies, or you kind of watch a career of an actress or an actor, um, with the exception of a few, because I'm trying to think what was Denzel's horrible movie that he had to do in order to get the better roles,
Mhm.
because I think everyone in Black Hollywood has to do that one role they don't want to do. Um, and
That's that's a
that's
hard
a hard one.
question
Like with
because he's done
Denzel,
so much good work since you kind of
exactly.
forget any shitty movie. Oh, I know what it is.
Oh, the one with
The
Mighty
Mighty
Quinn.
Quinn.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a horrible
Yo,
Denzel
yo,
movie.
horrible.
Horrible Denzel movie.
Yo, that was the worst Jamaican accent I've ever heard in my life. Oh, I don't know what island he was supposed to be from.
Yes.
Because it wasn't Jamaica. It was
It was
some
like the
weird
island
place.
next to Jamaica that like 5 Jamaicans live on. And that's the accent he got. But
Look, at this point, I want to talk to all of Hollywood. You can find a Jamaican that can act, okay? Stop hiring people from down south who can fake. Yeah, man. That's not it. You know what? I watched Colin in Black and White
Mhm.
on Netflix, the new Ava DuVernay, Colin Kaepernick
Oh, I
thing.
haven't seen that yet. Wow. Okay. How was that?
Uh, so I'm only on episode 2,
Okay.
episode 3. But in the second episode, he was talking about the birth of hip hop, right? And they did like this vignette of like Kool Herc, who was in his bedroom figuring out how he was going to play these records, and his father comes in, talking about get a job or whatever,
Mhm.
and the father's accent. He is Jamaican. He is of Jamaican ancestry.
Mhm.
The father's accent. Both me and my wife looked at each other like, "Where the fuck is he from? Like, why does he sound like he's half Puerto Rican, half Chinese?
Yeah,
Is that a Jamaican accent?"
that it was. They were like, "Can you do a Jamaican accent?" Of course I can.
He
I
said, "Yeah,
studied.
man,"
I studied in Oxford. For crying out loud.
and it's Irie.
It was Irie. Like
Yeah.
Camille says, or hiring British actors for everything, because that's another thing that has
Mhm.
been uh kind of a back and forth in Black Hollywood. The British invasion, so to speak, right?
Mm.
All the actors, I can't think of the there's a couple of dudes. And one most famously was the dude that was just played in the last Star Wars movies. He was like the first that kind of caught the little bit of the shit from everybody else because
Oh, Boyega.
yes.
Yeah.
And what I found interesting about that, and this is kind of a little bit off target, but he's from England, and
Mhm.
everybody in Star Wars, the white folks, have English accents, but he sounded like an American, like, which I never understood why he had to play
Hmm, that's
someone
interesting.
outside of his voice. Like he couldn't. What, only white folks can be British, and black people have to sound American. Like I didn't get it.
Mm.
But there is a lot of I guess an influx of British actors, and I can't be mad because they're doing great jobs though. I mean,
British actors are so highly trained, and they can't get love in the UK. Not
mm,
the way that they get here. Once, because there's a lot of actors in the UK that can only get to a certain level, and they got to come to the United States to really
mm,
blow up.
mm. So they've already paid their dues, so to speak. They've earned
They
their chops.
they've earned their chops. They're trained. actors. Not to say that American actors aren't trained, but now this is your competition, and it's not like they get every role, but they've gotten some really good roles.
Yes. Yes.
What came to mind was that the guy who stars in Snowfall.
Mm.
I didn't know right away he was British, but it's kind of like, okay, after you find out he's British, you're like, he's a fucking damn good actor. Like, why does it matter? Like,
Yes.
he's freaking that role. Or what's David? What, I can't remember his last name.
The dude that was in Get Out.
Selma.
Oh yes, the one that played Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Yes. Another good actor, and he was another one that caught a lot of heat because they were like, well, why couldn't we get an American black actor? And I'm wondering, it goes kind of to the, I don't want to say that, the analogy that's overused is crabs in the barrel situation, but and actors are actors, man, and you have so many talented brothers and sisters out there who don't get any light, and I can't be mad at them because they do such good work. You know what I mean? They do.
Exactly.
Let's for instance, we were talking about Michael K. White, Omar, Idris Elba as fucking Stringer Bell. I didn't know Stringer Bell was from Britain, was English.
Nope.
And it wasn't until after I found out, like, because I've seen The Wire, I don't know, 3-4 times, right? So I'll go back and you can kind of hear it break through every once in a while. I think that's probably the best American he ever played because I've seen him do other roles, and I guess they didn't pay him enough. So he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna get a little more English."
He's not even the only British actor on that show. McNulty is also British.
Yes. And
he's gone on to play a number of American roles.
He was in another TV show where it's about a married couple, whatever. I think it was on Showtime, and he didn't
The
get
Affair.
Yes, and he didn't get the shit that everybody else did.
No, I think there's, again, it's those opportunities to have these roles that are outside of the tropes, the out of the stereotypes, and there's so few that when someone who's not American gets it, some people are bothered by it. But for me, it's like, look, we're all black folks fighting to guide our own image and to craft our own image for the world to see.
If it's positive, I'm all for it, right? So if it's not, if no one's shucking and jiving, I don't care who plays the role, as long as it's a positive role. It's like with Latin actors and actresses, same thing. Nobody wants to see it's always you got to get the fiery Latina with the red lipstick. You got to get the heroin addict, playing the I remember when I was a kid, or that whole type of trope that that you can apply it to black folks as well, as long as they're playing good roles. Like, there's so many good actors out there that play roles. I mean, Andy Garcia plays an Italian in The Untouchables, right? And then you'll take an Italian who played a Puerto Rican in Carlito's Way. So I mean, I think Andy Garcia probably played a better Italian than Al Pacino played a Puerto Rican. That's just me. I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm, whatever, right?
You might be right.
But the same. What's funny, like we just talked about how the British actors are getting the shit for getting all the roles. It's kind of like in the 90s when all of the quote unquote hip hop artists started getting the roles, your Tupac, your Ice Cubes,
right,
who started getting the roles, and it was older black Hollywood who was like, who are these guys who are not trained getting all the roles?
Right.
And now it's, who are these British guys getting all the roles, or British women getting all the roles?
I think it's a bit of sour grapes. Because I the first person I heard say it publicly was probably Sam Jackson. And maybe he got turned down for a role that he thought should have been his, or a movie that should have been his. But Sam, you fucking make a movie like twice a week.
Hold up,
you're good.
Samuel Jackson, I believe, is the most seen black actor, I think, in all of movie history. I think there was some ridiculous thing like that. He's
He
he's
might be
the
the most seen actor,
yes,
period, of
he's the
all.
Michael Caine of
Yeah,
black actors, because Michael Caine is in everything.
yeah.
He's in everything. I think about, because we grew up, we were 70 babies. We grew up in the 80s. We saw probably every typecast you can think of on TV and movies. Then the early 90s, you have your Spike Lees and your, come through.
Snakes on a plane.
Snakes on a Plane, right? Yeah, that was a bad movie. He must have got a lot of money for Snakes on the Plane.
I'm tired of these
These
damn snakes
goddamn snakes
on a plane.
These fucking snakes on the motherfucking snakes. I I remember in the middle 90s, I think we had probably a renaissance
Mhm.
of black movies. They were bad ones, but there were some very good ones.
Right.
And I
Ooh, name
think,
some good ones. Name some good ones.
all right. Why can't I think of the name of this? The one with Jesus Christ. And Camille, I know she's listening. She probably knows what I'm about to say. The one with Nia Long.
Oh, James Love Jones.
Love Jones. Great
Yeah.
movie, right?
Great movie. Great movie. Bought it on DVD.
Yes, I have it as well.
Yeah. Don't know why that was the only film made by that director. He never made
Yes.
another film,
Yes.
which is a shame.
It was a good movie. It was just a great love story.
Mhm.
You have your gangster movies, you had your Boys in the Hood, you have your Menace to Society. I enjoyed Menace just because it was harder than Boys in the Hood.
Mhm.
Like, Boys in the Hood was the first movie I saw that they even addressed California and that gangster lifestyle outside of hip hop music videos.
Right.
Nobody ever did a movie about it. So while Boys in the Hood was like your PG-13,
Mhm.
Menace was rated R, raw shit, and had some decent actors in it. Again, that's the one that basically broke Lorenz Tate,
Right.
and he was lucky
Oh,
to escape that typecast.
Mhm.
Because how do you go from, because I want to say Love Jones might have been his second or third movie after that. He went from being Old Dog to Love Jones. So he was able to kind of walk away from Old Dog roles relatively quickly.
Yeah, but then he did Dead Prez, and I feel like after that, shit kind of dried up for him.
Because he probably didn't want to
They
do.
probably that's what he was getting offered after
Yeah.
that. But you know what? There was a period where there were a lot of black filmmakers making groundbreaking films, whether we're talking about Spike Lee or Matty Rich or Eric Dickerson, Charles Bennett, Dash. I can't remember her first name. It ain't Stacy. It's there was just a number of like young black filmmakers in that time that were making movies, and we came up in that time where they were whether it was Jersey Drive or Juice or but these were movies that were actually speaking to the time we were living in and the time
Yes.
we understood, and it was our voice. It was a hip hop voice. It wasn't like, because I think in previous generations it would have been a white director trying to tell us what hip hop is, and we'd be like, oh man, that's some bullshit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's dope on the scene, yo. Like that type of acting. You know what? One of the worst, and again, this basically is an example of what you just said right now. A white director directing a black movie. The movie is, and it just slips my mind right now, this Coquito is really strong.
I'm in love with Coquito.
It's Fresh. The movie Fresh. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was a kid
who plays chess, and he outsmarts the drug dealer.
Right.
Now,
I remember liking it.
Listen, go watch it again. Watch it now watch it through a, I guess, I don't want to say smarter eye, but a different eye than you did when you saw that.
Yeah.
Fresh to me was horrible in that it had a great premise and it probably could have been a better script if there were black people who wrote it.
Right,
If there were EPs and script writers or if they asked a black person.
Right.
Right. If they asked a black person from New York, does this sound authentic? They would have been like, hell fucking no, because one of the characters is this little Puerto Rican kid, and everything is dope fresh on the scene. Matter of fact, shout out to Big Pun. He actually samples one of his monologues on his album. But it was just so, and every other, and the actor who played the main character, who wound up doing other movies, it was just like whoever wrote this shit was like it was like a cartoon character almost. He was like, yo, it's be like that, yo, and it was just, oh my god, it was just really bad.
Stupid dope fresh.
Stupid dope, exactly, Domain. Stupid dope fresh, like that to me goes against, while it could have been a better movie, or a good movie at least, if they had people of color to be like, nah, son. And I think that's what is the major problem right now in Hollywood, because like you said, sometimes you're the only person of color, period, on the entire set.
Right.
And there's nobody there to be like, nah, son, that's not right.
Right.
That's why Gucci makes ads or develops t-shirts or shirts, turtlenecks with a coon face on it. And someone, like, it went through so many channels to be put out there, and nobody saw that shit. And that's the reason why, because there's no person of color there. And if there's one person, they're not talking to him or her. And, or maybe that person is so happy to be working for Gucci, they don't want to say anything, and they go, fuck it, I'm getting a great check.
Yeah, this is the exact reason why I don't buy anything Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean,
I've never bought anything.
Except for the fact that it's pretty much out of my price range.
Yes.
But other than that, that's why I don't buy Gucci.
Yeah. Fuck that.
No, But seriously though, H&M, I'll still never spend another $1 in H&M.
Right.
And I suggest, anytime I pass an H&M, I see a black person in there, I scowl at you. And now you know what that's about, okay? If you're
I don't even like to see you with a bag, motherfucker. If you got an H&M bag, I give you the scowl. No, I got
if you're okay with a committee of white people putting an ad out that says coolest monkey in the jungle and puts it on your child, you're gonna get a scowl.
Yeah, definitely.
Not me.
All right, so where do you think, with everything that's going on right now, I guess socially, it feels like every 20 years history seems to repeat itself, right? So you had the 60s, 70s, then you had the 90s with hip hop, KRS, and all these guys, Fight the Power, that Chuck D's, Rakim's really talking about social issues, and here we are again for the last 5 to 10 years of just police brutality, heinous event. Where do you see Hollywood is going? Where do you see Hollywood going now? Like, because I see like there seems to be a lot more positive voices out there.
Hollywood is only going to go one way, wherever the money is.
Right.
They're not going to go any other way. But they are capitalizing. For some reason, right now, our objectives are coinciding. Because I've never before have we seen this many black and brown people able to greenlight their own shit. I used to talk a lot of shit about Tyler Perry. I'm not a fan of his movies. I think he's a terrible filmmaker. I think he's not a great writer. What he does is just simply not for me. But I respect the hell out of him for his business sense and his commitment to his audience.
Yes.
Because a lot of people talk shit about Tyler Perry, but he don't care about that. He cares about servicing his audience and giving them exactly what they want. And he's done that to such an extent that he is now able to greenlight his own projects. He's been the reason why he's so rich is because he's been paying for everything he's doing out of his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's his money financing it.
He owns the masters, essentially.
Yeah, he owns the masters.
He owns the masters
and owns his destiny.
Yes.
So now, if you take a shitty little movie to Tyler Perry and you want to get it made, he has the power to say yes. Right?
Yes.
And where are you going to shoot it? On his lot.
Mm-hmm.
His studio.
Yes. They that's where they shot most of Black Panther 2 is been shot on his studio.
Black Panther 1.
Exactly. Also, I think Coming to America 2 was shot there. So listen, I'm like you. I was never. I can't say I wasn't a fan of his work because I thought it was kind of just
Coming to America 2, though. You have to mention that shit.
That was horrible. But anyway, Eddie, what'd you do? You ruined it. But all jokes aside, when it came to Tyler Perry, I always kind of looked at him like you. I was like, I'm not really liking his work. But it wasn't until I saw him speak about it. And he was so straightforward with it that you had to respect what he said. He was like, look, I know that everybody doesn't like my movies. I know that it's not for everybody, but it addresses an audience. It's your Sunday church, semi-hood audience. He did the Medea thing and he made money. And look, I respect him because, like you just said, he's giving a lot of people opportunities. He revived Cicely Tyson's career, paid her what she should have been getting paid for so many years. So shit like that, I give him enough props. I give him more props than a little bit because he is doing something that a lot of people talk shit about but don't do. Like a lot of people who throw stones at him, right, who have money, don't want to do what he's doing.
What he has done.
Exactly.
So for 7 years, right, he was doing his plays. For 7 years, he was losing. He wasn't making any money. Like he was losing money on this for 7 years before he made a profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a real commitment. He said, he said that God was talking to him and God said, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And he listened. I can't imagine committing myself 7 years to something that is losing me money. Like I'm not making money. I'm losing money. And then I end up sleeping in my car.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually you're going to give up. But this dude stuck with it.
You'll be like, is UPS hiring? Because I cannot continue to sleep in my car. But no, the commitment.
If I told you had to sleep in your car for the next 7 years, but then you'll be a billionaire, first of all, you think I was lying to you. And then could you really commit to that? Could you really commit to that? That's a question for the chat. Yeah. If I told you had to sleep in your car for the next 7 years and eat oodles of noodles and have people talk shit about you, could you do that to be a billionaire in year 9?
That's a long time. It depends on how old you are, I guess. If you're in your 20s, maybe. But if you're at the end of your life, you'd be like, nah, son. I can't eat oodles and noodles because I got bad blood pressure and salt issues. I can
make my feet swell up.
Make my feet swell up from eating all those oodles and noodles. But I like again, like you said, Hollywood's gonna do what they're gonna do to make money.
Mm-hmm.
It's the I guess they're going through some what we call fake consciousness, right? They're fake. They're being fake woke. At any rate, I am happy to see more positive, I think, movies out there, and a lot of Black women in particular getting to share their voices.
Yeah.
Shy, the Shy.
Yeah. Which, oh my God, it went to shit. I don't know what happened over there, but somebody fucked that show up.
Really? I haven't
Yeah,
even seen the last
fucked it up.
season.
It's terrible.
Wow.
It's terrible. I
Wow.
tweeted about it. That's
Mm.
how upset I was.
Wow.
I tweeted about it because I was in love with that show, and I don't know what the fuck happened.
Well, you know what? It's sometimes, that whether the person who's writing just runs out of things to write, or that hand comes out. That hand from Hollywood says, "Nah, we
I
want
think
to
that
soften it up a little bit. We want to
I
do this. We want to
honestly
do
think
that."
that's what happened. I think Lena Waithe stepped back a little bit, and Showtime took over, and they
Hmm.
fucked it up.
Yeah, and that's what often happens. It's what I call the New York Undercover syndrome, right? When New York Undercover first started,
Mm-hmm.
dope show, hip
Mm-hmm.
hop. You had all the latest music coming on. It was edgy.
Mm-hmm.
For the first 2 years, it was great. The storyline was good. The characters were good. That Malik Yoba, your dude Eddie, I can't think of his name, who's been an actor forever. It was a good show. It was entertaining for that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like year 3, we had to get the white sergeant or whoever, the white captain, and I think she was always on the show. Then, they needed to get an Italian guy to play the role, and by the 4th year, it was just horrible. It was a shitty show.
Mm-hmm.
It had lost its edge. They didn't even have the same type of music direction that it had when it first started.
Right.
So, I think that a lot of the, again, depending on how much the budget is and how much money they're giving you, a lot of the newer directors are not compromising.
Well,
and rather than not compromising to a certain extent, like they did on New York Undercover.
If you're on network television or you're on one of these cable or streaming, they still pull the strings. As a matter of fact, they can tell you what cameras you can and cannot shoot on.
Mm.
Yeah, it's down to that. They still pull the strings, but they may give you more artistic leeway than they did before.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they say yes or no.
They're going to control something.
Decide. They are the deciders, huh?
And they're going to control something on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder. Do you think, before we get out of here, do you think that's what happened to the show on HBO that was dope as fuck, and they didn't Lovecraft?
Oh, Lovecraft.
Do you think that's what happened to Lovecraft?
Well, first of all, Lovecraft, I think he said that it was only supposed to be 1 season. Mm-hmm. Originally, like the creator of the show. Oh no. I'm not thinking of Lovecraft. I'm thinking of what was the other one?
Yeah, Lovecraft was
Regina King.
Yeah, Lovecraft was written by.
I was thinking about the one with Regina King.
Right.
Supposed to be 1 season.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I don't really know what happened there. I'm dumbfounded because I thought the show was so brilliant. So brilliantly done.
But it touched a lot of nerves.
It had to touch a lot of nerves.
A lot of nerves. It was basically Lovecraft was what's the buzzword now that Lovecraft was critical race theory on film.
Oh yeah.
That's basically what their perception of critical race theory was on. That was exactly what it was.
Right.
Because it addressed so many things.
Right.
Another Michael K. Williams brilliant role.
Right.
Great show. And I'm hearing that, I don't know, it's Apple TV or somebody's picking it up. I hope that.
I mean, I hope so. If Apple TV picks it up, I will order Apple TV and
to watch it. Yeah.
Just to watch that. Mm-hmm. It was so good. I think it definitely is in my top 5 TV shows of all time.
Yeah.
Definitely in my top 5.
Great show. Well, we're about to end the show. It's we do a 50-minute show here. I want to thank, first of all, my man Rick. I said Rick. Alaric to everybody else. Truly my best friend, my brother I've known all my life. Thanks for coming out. It was a great discussion.
Man.
Went kind of quick, but
I know. At least, is what happens when we just shoot the shit.
Exactly. At least it was a good conversation. We didn't sit here like this. So, yeah. What's
Oh,
he
Domain,
drinking?
The Watchmen. Yes, it was The
Yes,
Watchmen.
yes, The Watchmen. That's
Yeah.
Regina King. And matter of fact, she I still haven't seen it. I have to go. Matter of fact, I want to watch. I'm gonna probably try to watch it now. The one that she just did on Netflix. Hard as it falls.
Oh yeah, please watch it.
I have to watch
Please
it. Right?
watch it. If you have not seen it, if you haven't seen it, please watch The Harder They Come. I mean, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yes.
And we're gonna talk about this on the podcast in the
Mm-hmm.
coming weeks.
Yes. Probably next week. We'll probably do it on Monday. Yeah, because I'm the one who didn't watch it, and normally I watch it, and then I'm the killer. I kill the story. I'm what do you call me? What do you guys call me?
Oh, you're the the spoiler.
The spoiler.
The spoiler. That's his.
I am the spoiler. I spoil all the endings. So listen.
What's the question? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the final question should be.
What's the final question?
What's the final question?
You got to tell us what the final question is because we don't know.
We don't know because the Coquito has definitely hit me.
I'm in love with Coquito. What's the final question?
I don't know.
Oh, now you're gonna log off? All right.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. If Rick had an open budget, what? Okay, right. So we'll go an extra couple minutes. If you had an open budget, what story would you tell?
You know what? It's funny. I had a moment a couple weeks ago when I was in California, and I was sitting outside. And I was having a bourbon and smoking a cigar, and I was thinking about our lives actually, and I would love to do a film or even a series about us as kids in Cambria Heights, but also have the backdrop of our parents and their relationships and how that sort of interacted and how that affected us as young boys growing up. I mean, because we had our own little adventures, right?
Yeah, we did.
But then there's this dynamic because we come from two broken homes, right? And a lot of responsibility was given to us
at a very young age.
Very early age. So we were latchkey kids, and you come home and make yourself lunch, but we lived in a very good neighborhood and lived very decent lives. So it wasn't like, you lived in the hood and we had to duck bullets and shit like that.
Yeah.
And we were stepping over heroin addicts to get home.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
We lived this sort of like working class in this working class neighborhood, and our moms worked hard like that. Like I want to show the experiences that our parents had and how that sort of helped us and developed us and affected us. Maybe it's because of therapy. Maybe therapy's bringing all this shit out, but
it definitely does.
I would. That's something that I would want to watch. You know what I mean?
When you were just talking about that, one of the first memories that pops into my head was we were like in second or third grade, going home to lunch, and you would come to my house and we'd make hamburgers. 8-year-olds should not be playing with fire at all.
Right. Cooking. We're chefing it up.
We're chefing it up, making chopped cheeses before they was chopped cheeses. Like, what the fuck were we thinking about? But see, that in itself is great. That's an episode in itself, making lunch. So we got to get to writing one day. Me and Rick always talk about we got to do something.
We're gonna make it happen.
We got to make
kids
it happen.
From Queens Productions.
No doubt. But so there you have it. Rick would make a movie about us growing up in the hood. Well, wasn't the hood because we wasn't, like you said, we wasn't ducking gunfire. We had a lot of good times. And then to think about us growing up 16, 17, having jobs and all that. Oh man. And then add the backdrop of hip hop.
Right. This is why I say it's a series.
Oh man.
Because we're going all the way. I wouldn't even take it all the way till now, but
yeah.
definitely
21.
through our 20s.
Yeah, to 21 or something.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Thanks again, Rick, for coming through. I had a good time just talking this shit. And definitely we'll have to have you come back. Coquito is strong as hell.
And I just want to say finance our project because
yes, exactly.
that's all we need is the money.
We're going to do a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So till next week, remember to catch Decoding 40 live tomorrow after dark at 10 o'clock on Thursdays, and the episode drops on Friday, and I'll be back next Wednesday. Hope everybody stays safe and continues to have a good week. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.